Sharia is a misunderstood term. One of the sources of misunderstanding is that Sharia is conflated with law. Sharia is the moral, ethical, legal, and social system that God desires humans to live by. So in that sense, Sharia is an ideal. Islamic law or fiqh or jurisprudence tries to implement that ideal in the world. So Sharia is immutable. Fiqh or law, Islamic law, are efforts of human beings to manifest that ideal in the world. And as humans are imperfect, the extent to which humans manifest that ideal in the world are imperfect. So it's an effort. So there's a saying that every independent jurist, every jurist capable of independent legal ruling, a mujtahid, has a share of reward for his or her answer, in that he or she tries to determine, to arrive at rather, what the rule of God in a particular issue is. What is the ruling in Sharia? So Sharia is with God, that's the ideal. If he or she is accurate after exerting themselves to determine what that ruling is, they have a double reward. If he or she is in error, they have a single reward, a reward for their effort. And so as a result, you see differences of opinions in legal schools and legal thinking. You see some ambiguity in the positions that scholars take on different issues. And that arises from the fact that fallible human beings are trying to determine what God desires for human beings in a particular situation. So I think it's very important for us to distinguish between Sharia and law. So what are the objectives that this ideal is trying to advance in the world? There are 5 basic ones: to preserve religion itself, to preserve life, to preserve intellect, to preserve the family, and to preserve wealth or the honor of people. So to preserve religion, idolatry is forbidden. To preserve life, murder, abortion, and other things that take life are forbidden. To preserve intellect, alcohol, narcotics are forbidden. To preserve the family, fornication and adultery are forbidden. To preserve private property, interest, hoarding, monopoly, insider trading are forbidden. There's a very sophisticated system in work. It's not just cutting hands off. Even that issue, which is very controversial, rarely happens. Why? Because first of all, it's called an exemplary punishment, a punishment that rarely occurs but to discourage other people. So, and secondly, we look at the principles. So if people are having economic hardship, and because of those hardships they're forced to steal, and they steal above a certain limit, which is another issue, but just hardship, there's no punishment for theft. Because why? People are economically strained. And because the society is not providing them the means to meet their needs, there's no punishment. So these are things that rarely occur. That people mention adultery or fornication and women being stoned. First of all, this is a punishment that can only be affirmed by confession or by 4 witnesses, not 4 witnesses who see a man together or see them going to a room together and then come out and they both have big smiles on their faces. So we assume that, there was some hanky-panky. They have to actually see the act of penetration. 4 people. Now, what's the likelihood of that happening? They have to actually witness the actual union, physical union of these people. So if you see a man wrapped up with a woman, that's not sufficient. So there has to be either a confession or the actual witness of the actual act. That's nearly impossible. Not even pregnancy is a proof of fornication because there's a possibility the woman might have been raped. So the simplistic and twisted arguments that are sometimes put forth, they're indeed miscarriages of justice.